The arrival of His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III, President of the Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Mahal na Pangulo, handa na po ang tanod pandangalupang libutin. Pino, baba. Ha!
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III. Our guest may be seated.
Angkat! Mahal na Pangulo, handa na po ang sampanaw upang libutin.
The President of the Republic of the Philippines will now inspect the troops. The President of the Republic of the Philippines will be accompanied by the Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Ricardo A. David Jr., and the Troop Commander. Appropriations, natural resources, trade and industry, civil, political, and human rights, good governance, public order and security, interparliamentary relations, and diplomacy. In building strong, capable, and disciplined security forces, it must prepare to offer opportunities for negotiations toward a just and lasting peace. In turn, achieving a transparent and participative peace process requires a comprehensive understanding of the root causes of conflict, under clear policies and driven by a genuine desire to attain a just and lasting peace. The approach of the current administration's national security thrust involves four specific elements espoused by the President: governance, delivery of basic services, economic reconstruction, and sustainable development and security sector reform. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for His Excellency President Benigno S. Aquino III. Please be seated. Distinguished Service Star is awarded to Rear Admiral Alexander P. Pama, Officer Dash 7936, Armed Forces of the Philippines.
For gallantry in action while serving as pilot of MG attack helicopter as Tactical Combat Support Force, the Gold Cross Medal is awarded to Captain Marlu A. Parugrug, Officer Dash 13401, Philippine Air Force.
Inyong hanay. Habang lumolobo po ang ating populasyon, kailangan din pong lumobo ang bilang ng kasunduluhan. Naging kabalikat kayo ng mga Pilipino sa pagbangon. Nakakarampot na halaga lamang po ito kung itutumbas sa inyong kabayanihan.
The memento is presented to His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III, President, Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines. Given this 21st day of December 2010 during the 75th Diamond Anniversary of the Armed Forces of the Philippines at Camp General Headquarters Grandstand, Camp General Emilio Aguinaldo, Quezon City. Signed, Ricardo A. David Jr., General Armed Forces of the Philippines, Chief of Staff.
Ladies and gentlemen, the various contingents of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, ang mga kawal Pilipino, makadiyos, makakalikasan, makatao at makabansa. Leading the parading troops is Major General Jesse De Losa, Army. His staff, Captain Albert Mogul, Navy, Colonel Joven Ronan, Air Force, Colonel Eugene Martirez, Navy Marines, Colonel Danilo Estropia, Philippine Army, Colonel Erickson Gloria, Air Force, and Colonel Roberto Mamawag, Philippine Army.
Following is the AFP Composite Band under the baton
The Troop Commander, Major General Jesse D. De Losa, will now report the termination of this morning's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's commemoration of the 75th founding anniversary of the Armed Forces of the Philippines.